Salam Sejahtera and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of our Competitiveness Talk organized by Malaysia Productivity Corporation. And thank you for taking the time to attend our webinar today. We appreciate your participation. Our talk today is the 29th of a continuing series of webinars focusing on Malaysia's competitiveness performance and ranking as assessed and reported yearly by international organizations, namely the International Institute for Management Development, or in short IMD, in their World Competitiveness Yearbook, and the World Economic Forum, also known as WEF, in their Global Competitiveness Report. In the recent World Competitiveness Yearbook 2020, also known as WCY 2020, Malaysia's competitiveness ranking has slipped to 27th position from 22nd in 2019, out of 63 countries assessed by IMD. This overall competitiveness score and rank is calculated based on 255 criteria, comprising 163 hard data and 92 survey data, categorized into the 4 competitiveness factors of economic performance, government efficiency, business efficiency, and infrastructure. In our talk today, our speaker, Abdul Rani, Salleh, will be presenting on attracting and retaining talents, which is a criterion in the sub-factor of labor market within the business efficiency factor. The score and rank for this criterion is determined through an IMD survey called the Executive Opinion Survey, using a question to ask respondents on how much attracting and retaining talents is a priority in companies on a scale of 1 to 6 in the question. I'm sure Abdul Rani will elaborate further and enlighten us on this topic in the context of competitiveness, as well as share with us his findings and recommendations to improve Malaysia's performance and rank for this criterion. Now, let me introduce our speaker before handing over the session to him. Abdul Rani Salleh is currently the lead consultant of Link FAR Sdn Bhd. He is also an associate trainer for MaxWEC, E-Class, and Irshad Consultancy Sdn Bhd. In the training fraternity, he is famously addressed as Brother Ron. Abdul Rani has over 20 years of experience in the field of training and consultancy, telecommunication services, and manufacturing, marketing, as well as computer software development. He also has exposure in the area of business process reengineering due to his active involvement in many BPR task force committees and SAP R3 ERP committees during his tenure at the Sapura Group of Companies. Abdul Rani left Sapura in November 2000 to work full-time with Link FAR Sdn Bhd. As a trainer, his core expertise is in project management, risk management, safety management, strategic scenario planning, logistics and supply chain management, supervisory and clerical development, customer service development, effective negotiation, creative and critical thinking, team building, and productivity and quality improvement. Throughout the years, he has been engaged as a consultant and trainer by many companies and government ministries and agencies, such as the Sapura Group of Companies, KUB Group of Companies, Maybank Group of Companies, Matsushita, Fujitsu Components, LHDN, CIDB, JKR, JPA, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Domestic Trade and Cooperatives, Ministry of Communication and Multimedia, and the list goes on with many more. At the international level, Abdul Rani has provided training and consultancy to the government of Negara Brunei Darussalam, specifically to the Ministry of Development, Ministry of Religious Affairs, Labour Department, the Authority for Info Communications Technology Industry, and the Institute of Public Service. And with that, I now hand over the session to our speaker. Over to you, Brother Ron.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wong. Okay, that was a lengthy introduction. Okay, but I do appreciate that. Okay, as what Brother Ron mentioned, if you guys would like to know details about me, you can scan the QR code over here. Yes, my nature of business is transformation. Okay, human capital transformation, human resource transformation, talent transformation. And do address me throughout this particular session. If you were to ask questions, do address me as Brother Ron, Mr. Ron, Encik Ron. Okay, speaking of Ron, yeah, of course. Okay, I believe inside your mind, you are talking. You are inside your mind. There is this particular word, Ron 95, Ron 97. I can't help it. Those are my relatives. Okay, let's move on. The objective of this particular presentation or this particular report that I'm going to present. Okay, number one is to highlight Malaysia current ranking for attracting and retaining talent as prioritized in Malaysian companies in the so-called World Competitiveness yearly publication 2020 publication by IMD. And number two, to analyze the reason or drivers that have determined the current position. Okay, as what Mr. Wong mentioned just now, our position is getting worse. It's not improved. And number three, to recommend the so-called initiative that can help Malaysia to improve on its current ranking on this indicator and consequently our overall competitive ranking. Okay, let's move on. Okay, whether we like it or not, people are the common denominator of progress. No improvement is possible with unimproved people. Okay, and competition, okay, for highly talented employees is fierce. Okay, is as fierce as the competition for customers. Companies would like to be seen as attractive employers for prospective applicant and so the existing current employees. Okay, so basically we're talking about the war for talents. Every organization would like to attract the best talents to their organization. So the issue is to attract, and the second issue is to retain. Okay, so if you look at our soccer population, okay, we look at this particular chart, projected 2030 Malaysia population by Department of Statistics Malaysia. Okay, the bulk of the workforce, okay, currently, okay, is made up of Generation Y and Generation Z, or you can say Generation Z, if you prefer the American accent. Okay, if you look at this particular chart, yes, the bulk of our workforce is made up of Generation Y and Generation Z. So whatever initiative that we like our government to come up with, okay, this is the background that we would like our government to have in mind. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Next slide. Okay, if you review, okay, the first 2 months of quarterly report by Department of Statistics Malaysia, okay, and currently we are living in a very exciting period, or you may say exciting. Okay, we are currently living in the era of IR 4.0, and at the same time, we are also living in the era of pandemic. Okay, this particular year, okay, this particular year 2020, okay, this is the year that people are going to talk about in the future, the impact of what happened throughout this particular year, especially in the beginning. If you look at the first 2 months, based on this particular quarterly report, if you look at the first 2 months, okay, this particular report saw significant changes in our labor market, okay, because of this particular COVID-19 pandemic. Most economic activities came to a halt, yeah, and as a result of that, total employment fall from total unemployment fall to 14.88 million, and in terms of percentage, unemployment increased to 5.1% in quarter two. Okay, and this is based on quarter two. Now, okay, we are moving forward. Okay, now we are talking about the second wave of pandemic. Okay, and this, but I don't see any. I don't see this particular unemployment figure going to decrease. Most likely, it's going to increase. Okay, now the reduction of employed person was observed, especially in the service sector. When we're talking about accommodation, food and beverage, hospitality industry, these are the most affected sectors. A lot of hotels closed down. A lot of the public transportation companies also severely affected. Yeah, and but there are certain sectors they experience increase. okay, in terms of employed persons. We're talking about e-commerce activity, delivery services. We talk about Grab Food, Panda Food, okay, and also information and communication technology related activities. Okay, these are certain sectors that see an increase in employment, right? Now let's move on. As business movement were restricted, okay, business revenue lowered and subsequently gave pressure to the labor market. Okay, and as a result of this, we look at the so-called government initiative currently. We have a lot. Okay, Prihatin Plus, Penjana. Okay, but most of these initiatives are mostly short-term in nature. Okay, and as a result of this particular, thankfully, as a result of this particular initiative, some businesses were able to retain their employees. Okay, but okay, we need to brace ourselves because of this particular pandemic. There's so-called second wave, third wave. Okay, the situation might get worse before it get better. Okay, and right now, okay, we are talking about the new norm. Yeah, we talk about when we talk about attracting and retaining talents. We need to incorporate the new norms into our practices. Yeah. Now let's move on. Okay, for this particular report, okay, okay, IMD ranked a country competitiveness against 337 criteria. Okay, one of which is attracting and retaining talents. Okay, the one that I'm going to present now. Okay, this indicator is under the competitiveness factor 3. Okay, business efficiency, sub-factor labor market. Criteria 3.2.20. Okay, in IMD WCY 2020. Okay, so this so-called competitiveness ranking, okay, as listed by IMD WCY 2020, okay, for this indicator is based on correspondent feedback to the following survey. Okay, if this is the survey that they utilize, from feedback from this correspondent, okay, we get our ranking. Okay, if you look at this particular survey, attracting and retaining talent is not, okay, there's like a scale from 1 to 6. 1 basically worse, 6 basically attracting and retaining talent is a priority. Let's move on. Attracting and retaining talent. Okay, those are the two keywords that we need to understand. When we talk about attracting, okay, we are concerned with what can we do. Okay, as a country, as an organization, what can we do to entice, okay, the targeted people, the prospective talents, okay, to like, okay, to have interest in our organization. And when we talk about retaining, okay, what can we do as an organization, as a country, okay, what can we do to keep the so-called prospective, the so-called employees that we have, the so-called targeted employees that we have, so that they remain loyal and they stay in our organization. Yeah? Attracting and retaining talent. Okay, we will combine these two words together. Yeah? Attracting and retaining talent. Okay, if we combine these two words together, attracting talent is forming the right environment. Okay, forming the right environment. Hold on a second. Yeah? Forming the right environment to engage your talent to produce the best and reach the potential while continuing employment in your organization. Okay, and if you look at Mehta et al. To 2014, okay, define employee retention as a technique adopted by businesses to maintain an effective workforce and at the same time meet operational requirements. Okay, Mr. Wang, are you still with me? Mr.
Yes,
Wang?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just unmuted myself. Yes.
Okay, it's okay. Okay. Let me continue. All right.
Yep,
Okay.
Please.
From time to time, okay, I will call your name, Mr. Wong, because I don't like to talk to myself by myself.
Okay, yeah, no problem. No problem. But I'll mute my microphone while you are speaking.
Okay, we do that. All right. And if you look at the WCY report, okay, years past, okay, from 2011 until 2020, yeah, okay, under this particular criteria, attracting, retaining talents, so our country, Malaysia as a whole, actually our performance is not that bad. we look at 2011, 2013, 2015, yeah, under this particular category, okay, our country, was ranked in the top 10, okay, and from 2016 onward, okay, this is a matter of issue. Okay, we have progressed backward for this particular indicator. Our ranking is getting worse. Yeah, we look at this particular ranking. Yeah, the lower the number, the better. Okay, the ranking of that particular country. The higher the number, the worse the ranking of that particular country. So from 2016, okay, until now, okay, is going to be a matter of concern for us. Okay, we look at from 2016, our country is ranked 12. Yeah, and then the numbers progressively increase. Yeah, okay, from 12, okay, 2020, we are currently ranked at number 41. Okay, so as such, okay, basically based on this particular indicator, we need to relook at our government existing policies, okay, that address this particular indicator. What can we do to improve? Okay, that is the question, right? Okay, let's move on. Let us move on. Okay, the main challenge, okay, when my team, me and my team, when we do this particular study, okay, analyzing this particular indicator, okay, the main challenge is for us to determine the exact data used as an indicator by IMD to produce this particular report. Okay, we consider this to be type 2, okay, which requires more information in terms of the irregularity data utilized by IMD due to this indicator solely using survey data. So there is a matter of perception in this particular ranking. Okay. Okay. We consider this to be type 2. Okay, because the data does not reside with single authority. The data reside with multiple authorities. Okay. And the key authorities and regulators that are of concern for this particular indicator, okay, there are many. Okay, let's go through one by one. Okay, the first one is Ministry of Human Resource. Okay, why this particular ministry is relevant, okay, in order for us to boost this particular indicator, because this particular ministry is the one that responsible, okay, to develop a competent, productive, responsive, resilient human capital in the labor market to increase the national productivity. Okay, this, if you go to this particular ministry website, okay, these are the policies, related regulation, related policies that under this particular ministry. Okay, and the list for this particular ministry, okay, related regulation policies involve, okay, ensuring the smooth operation of the national labor market, increase employability. Okay, the list is a lot. Yeah, and current short-term initiative to resolve labor issues during COVID-19 pandemic, okay, Penjana Prihatin, is under this particular ministry. And on the overall, if you look at the 11 Malaysia Plan and soon 12 Malaysia Development Plan, basically strengthening talents are listed as core activities under 11 Malaysia Plan, so 12 Malaysia Plan. And number 2, HRDF, okay, Pembangunan Sumber Manusia Berhad. Okay, this particular agency is under Ministry of Human Resource. Okay, relevant. Okay, they are one of the key authorities and regulators that is considered relevant, okay, for this particular indicator. Okay, HRDF, okay, this particular organization is responsible to encourage employers covered under the PSMB Act 2001 to retrain and upgrade the skills of the local employees, apprentices, and trainees in line with the business needs and the development strategy of the company. So HRDF can play lots of can play the roles here. Okay, we will during the recommendation, maybe we can talk about it in a short while. Okay, the third one, Ministry of Economic Affairs. Okay, why this particular ministry is relevant? Because the role of this particular ministry is to provide advice and tools for the internationalization of personnel and the recruitment of international experts to companies to boost employment and career opportunities in Malaysia. Okay, if our ranking is higher, okay, Malaysia is considered attractive enough, okay, for talents throughout the globe to come to work in Malaysia. Ministry of International Trade and Industry, okay, why this particular ministry is considered key authorities and regulator? Because, okay, it provides global networks to multinational companies to attract talents on conducting interns and practicums in the worldwide labor market. And of course, Ministry of Education. Okay, why this ministry is relevant? Because this ministry is one of its function is to uphold, a quality education system that develops individuals to their full potential and fulfill the aspiration of the nation. Okay, so if the education basis of this particular country of ours is not strong, it will impact the labor market. Number 6, Ministry of Higher Education. Okay, why this particular ministry is relevant? Because okay, this ministry is responsible to sustain the higher education ecosystem in order to develop, enhance individual potential and fulfill the nation aspiration. So basically, what the university produce, okay, should meet the industry requirements. Okay, and our very own NPC, National Productivity Corporation. Okay, because we're talking about attracting, retaining talent, NPC has played their roles in the 80s, 90s, and in this millennium. Okay, and NPC is considered important. Okay, they are key authorities and regulators because okay, this particular organization provide value-added information on productivity, quality, competitiveness, and best practices to research activities and databases. Yeah, and the most important, okay, because the NPC is also responsible to develop human capital and organizational excellence for building a knowledge-based society through training, system development, and best practices. Okay, so attracting and retaining talent comes under this particular purview as well. And they also conduct review on regulation and promoting good regulatory practice to create a more competitive business environment and nurture innovative and creative culture for productivity and competitiveness through partnership program. Okay, Malaysia Productivity Corporation. Again, the next one, CIDB Malaysia, CIDB Holding. For construction industry, CIDB Malaysia, CIDB Holding, okay, their role is almost similar to HRDB. Okay, because they are responsible to develop the capacity and capability of the construction industry through the enhancements of quality and productivity by placing great emphasis on professionalism, innovation, and knowledge in the endeavor to improve the quality of life in the construction industry. Okay, and whatever construction, whatever training undertaking by the construction industry player, yeah, because those training is considered important for them, okay, to get CPD points, right? For them to get CPD point and to maintain their license, okay. And of course, number 9, number 10, okay, we can lump sum these two together because this organization are the implementer to ensure the employee receive better benefits from the companies for retirement or protection. Okay, if EPF package is good, okay, that is a plus point, okay, for people to be attracted to that particular organization and for them to stay in that particular organization. And of course, we have private sector, Federation of Malaysian Manufacturer, SME Association of Malaysia. Okay, this particular private sector, they can also play the roles, okay, in order to increase attracting and retaining talents, increase the effectiveness of attracting and retaining talent practices throughout Malaysia. Okay, if you look at this particular criteria, okay, under IMD WCY 2020, the #1 country that is ranked #1 for this particular criteria is Denmark. Okay, so if you look at this particular list, okay, Denmark is highly, when it comes to business efficiency, they are #1. When it comes to infrastructure, they are mostly #1. Okay, environmental laws, university education, Denmark is ranked #2. Okay, but if you look at under business efficiency, okay, the criteria and also under infrastructure, those criteria are closely related. Okay, look at those criteria. Yeah, use of digital tools and technologies. Okay, worker motivation, employee training, social responsibility, brain drain. Okay, this criteria is closely related, okay, to attracting and retaining talent. Okay, now if you look at under infrastructure, intellectual property right, distribution infrastructure, environmental law, and in particular university education. Okay, these are criteria. This criteria basically also closely related to this criteria under attracting and retaining talent. Okay, university education in particular, yeah, closely related to attracting and retaining talent. Okay, because whatever result, whatever products output produced by universities, those output are taken by the industry. Okay, this is Denmark as a point of reference. Yeah. Okay, look at those particular lists; they are closely related. Okay. Now, what are the drivers that contributing to our current ranking? Okay, based on my research, so based on my experience and so based on my study, yeah, okay, these are considered drivers. Okay, number one, workplace flexibility. Okay, work-life balance, okay, becoming a prime concern for many employees. Okay, so companies should try to offer flexible working arrangement. Okay, so because if you base on surveys by Randstad Malaysia, 90% of employees and job seekers in Malaysia said they prefer agile working as it allowed them to maintain a good work-life balance. Yeah? So workplace flexibility, when we talk about workplace flexibility, okay, it's not just schedule, okay, flexible schedule, or it's not just flexible time. Okay, we can explore, okay, many combinations that we can as an organization, as companies, and also the government, okay, for the government to provide incentive. Yeah, if we talk about agile working, okay, or workplace flexibility, okay, we can, it can come in combination of people, time, places, okay, connectivity, technology, and space. Okay, we can provide flexibility based on those variables. Okay, we can provide flexibility based on the variables. And why I say 2020 is very interesting year, because right now we are forced to change our norms. Okay, we are forced to change our norms. Yeah, previously working from home or remote management, okay, from wherever you are, okay, it's not common. Now we are forced to accept those things as common. Okay, as common. But now the issue is how well can we process-wise, how well can we make it effective, make it more efficient? Okay, that's number one, workplace flexibility. Number two, okay, second drivers contributing to this particular current ranking, employee benefits. Okay, whether we like it or not, okay, we conduct a survey in developed country, okay, probably job satisfaction is ranked as number one. But in Malaysia, okay, okay, according to this particular survey by Randstad Malaysia, employees, job seekers in Malaysia, they still rank attractive salary and benefits as the most important consideration when seeking for an ideal employee. Okay, much more than work-life balance or career progression opportunities. So salary, yeah, gaji, okay, still rank number one. Okay, and number three, career development. Okay, based on this particular survey, 2018 survey by Randstad Malaysia, 37% of survey respondents plan to change employer in next 12 months, mainly due to a limited career path. Okay, they couldn't see progression. Okay, basically they see wall in front of them. Okay, so basically what can organization do? Ensuring that employees continue to progress in the organization through learning and development activities not only prepare them to take on more and more responsibility, but also keeps them engaged and invested in your strategic goals. So it is in the interest of organization to develop their employees if you want to retain them. Okay, to attract is one issue, but if you want to retain your so-called existing employees. Okay, number four, good manager-employee relationship. So basically, how well is your relationship with your boss? All right, this is one area whereby when I conduct my training, okay, this is one issue that a lot of trainees, those my trainees, they always ask this particular question. Okay, how can I get hold of my bosses? How can I manage my bosses? So basically, the nature of relationship between manager and employee, between you and your bosses is very, very important. Okay, because that is a determinant, is a driving factor. Okay, in order for you to stay or to get away from your current organization. Number five, personalized employee experience. Okay, this one is going to be important. Okay, in the future, I can say it's important right now. It's going to be more important in the future. Why? Because a company workforce is now more diverse than ever. Okay, employees are from several different generations. Okay, in many organizations, you can see baby boomers. Okay, those in the those close to pension age. We can see Generation X in the 40s and the 50s, early 50s. Okay, and we also see Generation Y. Okay, those 30s and 20s, and also coming soon, Generation Z. Yeah. So basically, we have employees from several different generations with varying background and work experience. Okay, so if you are utilizing, if organization are utilizing only one strategy or one policy, okay, probably it's no longer feasible. Okay, in our current setting. Yeah. So basically, we have no choice. We need to personalize the so-called employee experience according to that particular generation. Yeah. So whether we like it or not, okay, retention initiative should be personalized to each employee. Okay, so we need to state the benefits of an engaged workforce outweigh the cost. Okay, if workers are engaged in the early stages of their employment, they are encouraged to stay longer. Okay, consequently, the longer they stay, the more engaged they become, and organizations are able to retain their existing employees. Yeah, and number six, long-term benefits. Basically, what it needs for me. Okay, the young generation. Okay, some of them, okay, because of, okay, they get a better offer from competitive or from another organization, but the better offer is not so, is not much. Some of them jump because of 100 ringgit increment in salary. So what it needs for me, yeah, long-term benefits, not just short-term. Okay, you need to engage the employees. You need to make them believe that their interests are in the heart of the organization. Okay, employee retention effort definitely do not come without cost. True, but your company stands to gain, okay, long-term advantages, long-term benefit if you put in effort into that particular area. Why? Because several studies, okay, have long established the positive and significant relationship that job satisfaction has with performance. With an increase in job satisfaction, okay, this particular thing lead to increase and better performance, and hence better loyalty. So we can conclude, investing in your employees improve workplace productivity. A good overall employee experience also create advocates for your company, okay, building your reputation and attracting more talents to your company. Okay, if your organization invests in this particular thing and you develop your reputation, the whole world know about it. Of course, yes, you will attract you will attract employees, you will attract prospective employees to your organization. Okay, why? Company like Google, company like Apple, they receive thousands and thousands of applications per day, not per month, per day. Okay, there must be something, okay, that those companies do right. Okay, let's move on. So this is our recommendation. Okay, Mr. Wang? Mr. Wang?
Yes, I'm still here. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So can I continue with recommendation?
Yes, please carry on. Carry on.
Yeah.
We don't have any question from participants yet at the moment.
Okay. All right.
So probably at the end of the presentation, let's see. Please carry on.
Okay. I hope they are still with me. Yeah. Okay. Recommendation. Yeah. So previously I showed I showed that particular chart, yeah, of our country standing, yeah, with regard to WCY, yeah, IMD WCY yearly competitiveness ranking. Okay, so under this particular criteria, attracting and retaining talents, yeah, 2011, 2013, 2015, yeah. Okay, Malaysia was ranked number 8, 7, and 6 respectively for this particular indicator. So the question is, what did we do right? Okay. Okay, if some of you can recall, if you are in this particular field, here human resource development field, okay, during those years, yeah, we have lots of visible program, okay, graduate employability programs and talent score, okay, okay, they were highly visible, okay, we can heard about them, okay, on the TV, we can heard about them on the radio, yeah? So probably, okay, I can I can postulate that, okay, because of this particular visibility, people are aware. Okay, that's why when this particular questionnaire come up, the respondent answer in the positive. Okay, and so maybe for the coming year, okay, 2021, okay, we need a strong visible program that can highlight the relevant ministries and agencies' effort in attracting and retaining talents. Okay, if you are visible, people heard about you. Okay, people know about you, and of course, okay, if this particular questionnaire come out, I think the respondent should be able to answer in more favorable terms, okay, to Malaysia. So for this particular recommendation, okay, relevant authority agency, Talent Corporation Malaysia Berhad, okay, Ministry of Human Resource, okay. Maybe these two particular agencies, they need to play the roles. They need to be more visible when it comes to programs, okay, in attracting and retaining talents. And number two, optimizing local talents. Okay, we propose three-pronged areas. Okay, number one, education. Okay, number two, the existing employees throughout the industry. And number three, the so-called unemployed graduates. Okay, because the numbers are alarmingly increasing year in, year out. Okay, so for education, okay, we would like the relevant authority agency, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Higher Education, yeah. Okay, we would like them to focus more on areas that can build up, okay, the human capital of our nation, okay, and current employees throughout the industries, okay, MPC, SRDF, CIDB, okay, the roles that these organizations play, yeah, okay, we would like them to play a more proactive roles, okay, and so-called unemployed graduates, okay, relevant authority agency, Ministry of Human Resource, Khazanah Nasional, private sector, okay, if government offer incentive like scheme latihan Satu Malaysia, scheme latihan Satu Malaysia right now, okay, Pro-TG, there are few initiative, few programs, okay, those particular incentive could be very helpful if government make it more visible. And of course, Talent Corporation Malaysia Berhad, Talent Corp, okay, these are some of the relevant authority agencies who can which can play the roles, okay, which can make the roles more visible, okay. Now, number three, strengthening working ecosystem. Okay, 4M. Okay, what is 4M? 4M stands for man, human factors. Okay, man, human factors. The first M is man, human factors. The second M is machine, facility. Okay, man, machine, method, and material. Okay, strengthening the working ecosystem. So the so-called ecosystem consists of human factors, consists of machinery and facility, consists of method, okay, standard operating procedure, okay, the approach, the way we work, and the materials that we utilize, okay. Strengthening working ecosystem, okay, that emphasize on 6 key drivers, okay, workplace flexibility, employee benefits, career development, good manager-employee relationship, personalized employee experience, and long-term benefits. Okay, these are the areas, okay, these are the areas that we would like strengthening. Okay, if the so-called ecosystem, we talk about human factors, does it consider workplace flexibility? Okay, when it comes to human factors, does it consider employee benefits, career development? Okay, and when it comes to methodology, okay, does the so-called SOP that you put in your organization, the procedure in place, are those procedure encourage or make it easier for workplace flexibility? You can work from anywhere. You can do remote management from anywhere. Okay, and the materials that we provide, okay, to our staff, to our organization, those materials are considered helpful, okay, for them to work at home. Those materials are considered helpful for them to develop their career, okay, and manned, machine, okay, method, materials. Okay, so those are the so-called working ecosystem that emphasize on 6 key drivers. Okay, when you look at those key working ecosystem, look at each one of those elements. Okay, you need to incorporate these particular 6 key drivers inside those elements. Okay, and of course, okay, relevant authority agencies, the Ministry of Human Resource, HRDF, CIDB, MPC. Okay, they need to look into policies or incentive that can help organizations strengthening their working ecosystem by incorporating these 6 key drivers. Number 4, create a policy which is adaptable to millennial working needs. Okay, because whether we like it or not, millennials are now the largest segment in the labor market. Okay, their tendency, their interest, okay, what what motivate them, okay, those factors are dissimilar, okay, compared to Generation X, compared to baby boomers. So we need to look at ways for us to be adaptable, okay, to millennial working needs. Okay, and for this, okay, Ministry of Human Resource, okay, they need to look at into incentive or ways for us to incorporate, okay, millennial workforce into the labor market in such a way that, okay, rather than the procedure becoming more rigid to them, we can make it in such a way that it is their acceptance into the so-called labor workforce. And number 5, okay, introduce new proactive policies that nurture local talents tailored to the needs of future FDIs. Okay, what we need to relook into our existing policies. Okay, we need to make it. We need to make the so-called. We need to come up with a proactive policies that instead of these so-called policies need to nurture local talents. Okay, tailored to the needs of future FDIs. When foreign companies come to Malaysia, okay, they look at our labor market. They look at our education background. Okay, do we have enough engineers to help them? Okay, when it comes to new fields, for example, IR 4.0, okay, IR 4.0, okay, artificial intelligence. Do you have the enough labor market, okay, to provide services that require, okay, by these particular foreign companies, okay? Do we have the so-called syllabus that we teach in our university? Are those syllabus enough, okay, to cater for these up and coming technologies, for these up and coming investment, okay, by foreign technology companies? Okay, and for this, we would like our Ministry of Human Resource, Ministry of International Trade and Industry to relook into the so-called existing policies and make it more proactive. And number 6, okay, if you guys have any questions or suggestion, ladies and gentlemen, my audience, if you have any suggestion, any questions, or if you have your own point of view, okay, feel free to share those particular point of view. Okay, you can write down in chat. Okay, after we conclude this particular recommendation, probably, okay, me and Mr. Wong, we will talk about it. Okay, please do. Thank you very much. Okay, number 6. Developing and nurturing new talents in a niche sector to equip the skills that are needed, okay, inclining towards IR 4.0 or industry forward through strategic partnering with world industry organization. Okay, this is this is something that we suggest. Okay, we talk about Ministry of Higher Education, Ministry of Human Resource, Ministry of National Trade and Industry. Yeah, okay, probably, okay, they can come up with certain collaboration with the industry. Okay, if they can collaborate with work players, it's even better. Okay, to come up with a suitable program, okay, for our high school, for our universities, and also for our industries. Okay, this is a very niche program. Okay, and this particular program should be able to equip the skills that are needed, inclining towards IR 4.0. Okay, so basically, the new things. Okay, we talk about machine learning. Okay, with artificial intelligence. Okay, cognitive reasoning. Okay, those are the so-called pillars of IR 4.0. So basically, Ministry of Higher Education for universities, okay, Ministry of Human Resource, Ministry of International Trade and Industry, yeah, the collaboration when we do convention, etc. Okay, if we can do that, okay, then this is something that can help, okay, build up our human talents, human capital at school level, all the way to university level, and also all the way to industry level. Okay, guys, we come to the end of this particular session of mine. Okay, so based on this particular report, okay, whether we like it or not, as a country, we have no choice. Okay, Malaysia has to confront with the competitive labor market in the global arena. Okay, the so-called talents that we produce, okay, hopefully it's not just for Malaysia. Okay, I would like to see one of these days that we can not only produce talents for Malaysia, but we also export our talents to the world, especially in IR 4.0. Okay, it's good because some of my friends currently, okay, the trend is there, but if we can expand it further, it should be better, because right now the numbers is not large enough. Okay, because I have some of my friends who work in Dubai, who work in the US, who work in the Europe, but the numbers are small. Okay, okay, if we can do it in such a way that, okay, we can improve our labor market, okay, make it more competitive, okay, it's not just for us producing talents for Malaysia requirement, but also for the world requirements. If we can do that, and as a country, we should be able to attract, and not only able to attract but retain our talent. Okay, not only attract and retain our talent, but also export our talent to the world market. So for that, the government of Malaysia needs to formulate the right policies in such a way, not only improving the attracting and retaining talents competitive indicator, but also improving the country overall position in talents management. Okay, with that, I pass back to Mr. Wong. Mr. Wong?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep, for the very interesting presentation and also explanation on this topic of attracting and retaining talents, Brother Ron. So I have here one question which has been posed. I will relay the question to you. And this question is from Mr. Harry Edwards. His question is, in the coming years, millennial generation will dominate the labor workforce. What are the suggestions or policies to accommodate this workforce generation to contribute to the development of our nation?
One more time, Mr. Wong. What are the?
Okay, I repeat the question. In the coming years, millennial generation will dominate the labor workforce. What are the suggestions or policies to accommodate this workforce generation to contribute to the development of our nation?
Okay.
So it's asking for suggestions and policies on how to accommodate the millennials so that they can contribute to the development of our nation.
Okay. So in order to answer that particular question, we need to understand what are the interests of millennial. Okay, what are the interests of millennial? Yeah. Now, if you look at the so-called new workforce, the so-called millennial, what are the things that interest them? Okay, and for these particular groups, okay, I believe, okay, the 6 key drivers, the so-called strengthening the working ecosystem, okay, that emphasize the so-called 6 key drivers. I think this one should be able to cater towards the requirements of millennial, okay, especially personalized employee experience. Okay, we need to look at them, okay, as different from Generation X and so different from Generation Baby Boomers. Okay, so whatever policy that we can, the government come up with, okay, those so-called policy must be in the form of incentive for organization, for companies to provide, okay, a good working ecosystem that emphasize on 6 key drivers. Okay, so that is my answer for that particular question. Mr. Wong, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I believe you know, there are different generation, or I would say age group in our labor force today. So different age group may have different preference when it comes to the working environment. So like you said, millennials, they would like personalized experience. They maybe want enriching type of work instead of routine and firefighting activities every day. And also, I'm sure millennials also, you know, are more savvy with digital tools, with computer, with internet, you know, with working using digital platforms instead of paperwork, instead of writing, you know, pen and paper type of work. So, but I would like to maybe seek some more opinion from you, Brother Ron. What are the in terms of let's say looking at perspective of the company's management, because I understand that this particular criterion, attracting and retaining talents, is based on the survey data, and the survey is taken or given to middle management and senior management people in the private sector. In the private sector, meaning they are all private companies, not from government departments or government bodies. So I look at the the trend. It seems like I think earlier, very at the beginning of your talk, you showed a slide on the worsening or declining trend in terms of ranking for this particular criterion. So I'm just curious, getting to get your opinion. What could result in this, declining trend? Why would people in the middle management and senior management of private companies in Malaysia, responding in a negative way in terms of prioritizing attracting and retaining talents in companies? Any view, any opinion based on your findings and research, Brother Ron?
Okay, based on my finding, I think it's a matter of perception. Okay, that's why during the years that our ranking is higher, okay, the so-called government programs, they are very, very visible. Okay, you can hear, you can listen, you can hear, you can hear lots of advertisement about talent call, a lot of advertisement about scheme latihan satu Malaysia. Okay, but lately, okay, from 2018 okay, until now, okay, the noise with regard to this particular advertisement, visibility of this particular program is lessening. Okay, compared to those years. Okay, so that I think that is one of the contributing factors why suddenly we have this particular perception. Attracting and retaining talent, okay, is a priority, is not a priority. Okay, so that's my point of view. Because when I compare years past and now, okay, the visibility is less.
Okay, I see. All right. So in your talk, also in your presentation, your slides, you showed, I think, a bigger scope covering what government or authorities can do to promote this attracting and retaining key talents. But what about things that companies should do? I mean, if I look at multinationals, big companies, and maybe also public listed companies compared to SME companies, is there a difference? Is there a big difference in terms of the perception here regarding multinationals versus SME in the context of attracting and retaining talents? So the key drivers you mentioned, the 6 key drivers, are these lacking in many of our SME companies today in Malaysia? Your view, please, on this?
My point of view between multinational corporation and our SMEs, yes, to a certain extent, yes. Okay, because we're talking about Malaysian SME. I think the focus is on meeting bottom line, okay, rather than developing talents. Okay, so you have to weigh the benefits between getting your bottom lines and developing your talent, because the perception currently is still that developing talent is cost, okay, rather than long-term benefits. Okay, so they need to see that by investing in the talents, okay, the benefits can come in the long term, in the future. Okay, between multinational and our SME, the focus is different. Okay, our SME focus more on bottom line. Okay, but our multinational, they have no choice. Okay, in order to reap so-called benefit, in order to reap profitability, they need competent workforce. Okay, that's my point of view.
So in your opinion here, which I agree, also, it's tougher for SME to provide the environment based on the key drivers you mentioned. Not so easy to provide those to the employees, but probably they can identify key employees, key talent in their company, and those are the ones they should keep, because as we know, it's actually cheaper to retain good employees than to have them leave the company, and then you have to do your search and interview to get the right replacement, and then train the person up to be up to speed to do the job that has been left behind by the talented employee who has left. So I think the cost and the time taken is much more compared to if they focus on retaining their really key employees, probably by way of a pay for performance, have a good benefit for these employees, good career development or advancement opportunities, and so on. So like you mentioned, human capital is the most important. Yeah, even if you have this a lot of technology in your company. I remember I worked with Shell before. So in Shell there is this policy, HR policy that every 4 years, maximum 4 years, the employee needs to rotate, look for another new role. So they have a system of internal openings or internal opportunity for people to apply the next job. So every 4 years. So it's like, the joke is always that if you don't like your immediate boss, your manager, you just have to, tolerate the person for maximum 4 years, because in the 4 years, either he will move on to another role or you will move on to another role, a new boss, a new manager. So that is, I think, a good system. It also allows the person, the employee, to be flexible in terms of able to look at, able to go through the experience of different roles. Okay? Some employees, even before the 4 years is up, they will move on to another role because they are talented. They're high performance, high performing employee. So other departments, other division, the company would want to take them. Yeah. So this, I think, is a good way to develop the employee, going through job rotation with multiple roles, multiple experience, and at the same time also have the opportunity for career progression. Well, I think that is a good system, because those employees who are not considered as good performance, when they try to apply other role and they go through the interview also, if they are not able to get the role and the 4 years is up, and then maybe they're given another grace period of 6 months, and if they still cannot get another role, they will have to be let go. They will have to leave. I mean, of course, there will be the severance compensation and so on, but they will leave. So in a way, this system of every 4 years you have to have a new role, every employee, makes the company sort of able to keep on renewing their workforce or their talent, to constantly develop the people in there, to make them more more competitive, more high performing, more talented. And those that are of a lower performance, they will also be sort of let go and then move on. It's renewing the, you say, like putting new blood in the company continuously.
Yep.
So that I think is a good way. But of course I don't see many companies doing that. I've not known of any other companies doing such a system for the employee development and retaining of key talents.
Yeah.
So just want to share with you and also the audience on my experience with Shell. I think that's a good system in Shell. Not sure whether other companies in the oil and gas industry is having the same system or not, but Shell has this. Yeah.
True enough.
Yeah. I'm checking the question box here. No other question come in.
Okay.
Okay, so in your experience, how has our HRDF, which imposes this compulsory contribution to the fund, and then this encourages companies to have training to develop their employees. How has this helped in this particular area of attracting and retaining talents? How big a way has this helped compared to other government initiatives? Yeah.
No, talking about HRDF, levy, etc. Okay, it helps a lot. Yeah, it helps a lot. Yeah, in terms of learning and development, it does help a lot. Yeah, but the problem is, okay, because during when I interview HRDF personnel, we have this particular issue that company just contribute to the levy for the sake of contributing because of for the sake of regulation. Okay, that's why if you check with PSMB, I think we still have this particular problem. The fund is there. Okay, the fund is there for training, but the company basically they did not utilize this particular fund. Okay, especially as so-called SMEs, a lot of them fail to utilize those particular funds. But the good thing is this, because of what HRDF do right now, they encourage this particular company to utilize those particular fund. I think that the campaign to a certain extent is working. Okay, because a lot of companies are more aware of this particular levy, this particular fund, and of ways to utilize those particular funds. So to a certain extent, yes, HRDF they were quite successful, okay, in encouraging companies, okay, to contribute and so to utilize this particular fund for training. But there are still areas for improvement, especially the quality of training, and so the types of training utilized, and so the incentive required, okay, the so-called the so-called incentive required or the policy that are put in place, those are areas that can still be improved upon.
Okay.
Thanks, Tuan.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for that explanation. But yeah, I think I still come back to the 6 key drivers, the factors you mentioned about, those are the important, I would say, conducive work environment to attract and retain talent, attract and retain high-performing employees. So with the drivers you mentioned, and also looking at the difference between SMEs and bigger companies, in your opinion, how can our government or key authorities here help SME companies to provide such drivers, to make available or to allow, well, either allow or impose the requirement for companies to have such key drivers for SME especially? How can government help SMEs on this area?
Basically, we need policies that can encourage our local SME with regard to the 6 key drivers, okay? And if we can do it in such a way that, okay, rather than work in silo, we can do it in such a way that these agencies, they complementing each other. Okay, basically they, rather than work in silo, I do my way, you do your way. So if they can come up with a so-called blueprint, okay, of policies that work in such a way that these particular agencies they complementing each other in such a way that the puzzle is complete, rather than here bit and pieces here and there. Okay, because if in my presentation I mentioned CIDB is for construction industry, okay, and PSMB for something else, okay, and we also have NPC. Yeah, we also have NPC, we have PSMB, we have CIDB, we have NPC, and we also have other private sectors, private agencies like Federation of Malaysia Manufacturers. Okay, they also involved in training. They also involved in learning and development. So we can come up with a policy that this particular agency, rather than competing or work in silo, they complement each other. Okay, that should be very, very helpful. Okay, we can get the bigger picture rather than just one piece and bit here and there.
Okay, yeah, thank you for your sharing on this. Yeah, I think definitely MPC, who is the organizer of this series of webinars, will be taking this forward. The next step or the next phase is to take these recommendations, from you on this particular topic to the relevant government agencies or authorities, and see, like you said, whether they can work together, collaborate together, and come up with something, some initiative or some change in policy or regulation to promote this attracting, especially the retaining. Probably attracting, the companies have to, the management of each company have to look at the best practices from other companies, from the bigger companies, from multinationals, from public listed companies, how they are attracting good employees or high performing employees to their companies. And after that, how to retain these key talents with the right drivers, with the right environment, the right driver, the right benefits and pay and so on. So MPC will definitely take it to the next step, to see how key authorities in Malaysia can help out, especially for SME.
Sure.
Okay. There are still, I think, no other question. Let me just confirm. I don't have another question. I think, yep, we have come to the end of this talk here, since there are no questions from participants. Any last comment or final words from you, Brother Ron, on our topic today before we end?
Okay, attracting and retaining talent. To say the word is easy, but to do it is a challenge. But we have to do it. We have to take the first step. Because in order to come up with something good, it's not easy. In order to come up with a good positive culture, it's not easy. It takes time. But we have to move forward. So basically, hopefully this is a good step. Okay, what MPC did what MPC did with this particular initiative under Pemuda to increase our ranking, not just in the competitiveness, overall competitiveness, but also for this particular criteria, attracting retaining talent, we can improve further. Okay, that should be helpful for the country and also for the population as well. Okay, Mr. Wang.
All right, yeah, well said. Yeah, so thanks. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that's the end of our talk today. And thank you to Abdul Rani, our brother Ron, for a very captivating and enlightening talk on the topic of attracting and retaining talents. And I would like to thank those who have joined our webinar today for taking precious time out of your busy schedule to participate in this webinar. And I wish everyone here a productive rest of the week ahead. Stay healthy, stay safe, and as much as possible, stay at home during this CMCO period. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.